200 IC. Crossing the World's Edge Mountains from the east, the Halflings migrate into the Old World. 420 IC. Hanselstorff Kuchenmeister creates flat, flaky pastry and places it atop a stew. He calls it a piper. His wife places the pastry underneath, enclosing the stew, and shortens the name to pie. Hanselstorff disagrees, saying with pastry all round, it should be called a pasty. The Kuchenmeisters' dispute over naming the pastry spirals out of control as other halflings take sides. The pie war begins. It lasts for more than 2 decades before a truce is called. 500 IC. In a period known as the Drive to the Frontiers, halfling communities begin to assimilate into the wider empire. 572 IC. Halflings are recognized as full citizens of the empire as the Charter of Imperial Rights is crafted. 701 IC. The topless pie is invented by an up-and-coming baker named Tartly Tongue Burden-Blouse. He calls this innovation a tart. The second pie wars are sparked, lasting 18 years. To end such future pastry disputes, a ruling body is established by Elder Leopold Ramsidhum. 833 IC. Forthright first foremostly performs his poem, The Short Man's Burden. It urges halflings to take up the life of servants, as he believes that by being close to power, halflings will gain influence in the empire. 1010 IC. The Moot is established as its own province within the empire's borders. This is mostly due to halfling bakers plying the emperor, Ludwig the Fat, with all manner of exquisite pastries. 1035 IC. The territory of the Moot expands to include the region known as the Green Leafs. The town of Gipfel now finds themselves a hub of activity as new halfling eateries open. 1105 IC. Halfling field wardens detect an increase in Skaven activity. They attempt to warn the Emperor, Boris the Incompetent, but he refuses to believe that Skaven exist and declares that the mere mention of them is treason. 1115 IC. Much of the Old World is conquered as the Skaven clans attack. Unable to defend themselves, the halflings and the citizens of Stirland and Avaland are forced to seek refuge with the dwarfs. 1124 IC. The Skaven are driven out by Emperor Mandred, the Skaven Slayer. Halflings are the first to return to towns and begin the effort of rebuilding after the invasion. They claim Sarafel from Avaland as a result. 1360 IC. Adventurer Buttermilk Condywurst returns from his exploration of the Chaos Wastes with an idea for the Norsken, a fluffy pastry with fruit and custard. Many halflings think he has been driven mad by his wanderings. 1550 IC. The Empire is gripped by civil war as 3 emperors claim the title. The Moot chooses to remain neutral in the conflict. This begins the tradition of Mootlanders removing themselves from Bigfooter politics. 1680s to 1880s IC. In a long period known as the Underyears, the Moot suffers several disasters. The dead rise from the grave all over the Empire, and greenskin hordes attack from the south. Hiding for long periods underground, the halflings earn a reputation as cowards. This prejudice affects halflings across the Empire and causes a great rift between them and the Bigfooters. 1787 IC. During the Underyears, a lack of pie meat leads to the invention of the sausage roll. It is an often denigrated pastry by many halflings and remains a symbol of lean times. 1999 IC. Halflings conduct numerous expeditions into Sylvania, where a giant warpstone comet has crashed. Small fragments of warpstone appear on mantelpieces across the Moot. 2000 to 2145 IC. 3 separate waves of vampire counterattacks almost destroy the Empire. As halflings are resistant to vampirism, the Elector Count of the Moot rescinds the previous stance on neutrality. 2231 IC. The dessert, known as the flan, is made illegal. Many bakers defy the law and continue to offer it in secret. 2429 IC. Marienburg formally secedes from the Empire. Discussion begins across the Moot about following suit. 2431 IC. After the Great Fire of Altdorf, halfling pies are one of the few things available to eat. Pie Week, invented a century earlier, becomes a hit in the capital and soon spreads across the empire. 2502 IC. A conflict takes place between Elector Count Marius Leitdorf's forces and the halflings of the Moot. Marius gets a reputation for his ruthlessness as a result. 2512 IC. Ubersreich becomes self-governing, so the Moot sends a semi-official exploratory committee to the city. This marks the first steps towards Mootish secession. The odds of us receiving the Halflings as an expansion for Warhammer 3 are probably very slim, but I think given the comedic value that they represent, they could be a great addition to the game, and I for one am all for their inclusion.